So tomorrow we did get confirmation that in this half anniversary creator showdown, we are going to be seeing the first gameplay for Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Now I assume this is going to be his trailer where we're able to see all of his like moves, his skills, his ultimate, what he's able to do in battle with his passive skill. And again, we know that this guy is a tank character. Now, I think this is going to be a very fun stream to watch. They have like a bunch of bigger mobile players, creators. Tyler One is in there, right? There's a bunch of other creators that are known in the MOBA space, and I think it could potentially breathe a lot of life into like just getting a bigger community, which could be a good thing overall. So I'm excited to watch and see what happens there. I'll be live on YouTube, I think, or Twitch probably, just reacting to this, right? Now, on the kind of bigger detail here of what I'm making this video, I want to talk about what I think God Vegeta could potentially do and how he could shape the meta to be a bit more healthy and have a lot of different picks available right now. Now, when it comes to like game design, I think that they put in a lot of characters and they design a lot of characters a certain way, and they know, oh hey, you know, like we designed this character to do this thing and then this character to counter this character. But an issue could arise when it's maybe something like this where it's like, okay, based on what we see right here, right, we see God Vegeta has a pull-in skill kind of similar to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta skill 1, but on a much grander scale, where we're seeing right here he's pulling enemies in forcibly. As you see, like in this specific instance, Broly's about, where is he? He's right here, right in the middle of it, and he gets pulled in forcibly. Now, I think that's really good as a counter for ranged characters. And again, we've recently gone ranged characters like really taking over the meta. I could have probably brought this up here, but let's take a look at all the ranged DPS characters that are really running things right now. Oob and Kefla. Even Vegeta could, you know, he's a team fight character, but he could also fight a little bit from afar. God Goku is another character that could realistically just like sit back and just shoot his beam out. He's looking good there. Not really so much for technicals, but I think, you know, we all know, at least like if you played the game a while, at the bare minimum, you know, Kefla is a huge problem and Oob is also a huge problem. So if Vegeta is like kind of a counter to that, I think that'll be good. And it could just lead to a lot of other character choices being picked. Or it's like, okay, you know, because God Vegeta exists and a lot of people are picking God Vegeta, the meta will shift so that we might not see as many Keflas or Oobs anymore. Especially if this is a skill that, I mean, imagine it, we did see, you know what they did? They did this for Bojack, where Bojack's skill 3 now applies no vanish. I don't believe they update this. They really need to update this more. But this applies no vanish now, right? For every hit. So like if you get trapped in here, like if you trap a Kefla in here for whatever reason, Bojack is actually able to kind of counter her a little bit by just causing her not to be able to vanish. But at the same time, what if God Vegeta has that as well? Like a no vanish in this kind of area, that could definitely be something to counter like Kefla specifically that a lot of people are having with like troubles with, right? Then we also saw he has this other skill here where he brings 2 ki blasts together and it looks like it like wraps around the enemy. So we could see right here, or this is more so his rush attacks actually, I believe. But you see he's applying movement speed down, but the Broly has like a red aura around him. You guys see that? No, he has like a little bind right there. Yeah, these 2 ki blasts here, that's like a little binds together. You see Broly gets like kind of binded down, and it looks like he has a movement speed down debuff as well. Vegeta also looks like he has ranged ki blast, which means that he could be a ranged attacker. And I think I was talking about this with Annie. I'm not sure if Annie really saw anything else here, but Annie saws again the second ever tank with long range rush attacks next to Baby. As you see right here, this is the skill 2. Or whatever skill this is actually. I say skill 2, but you guys get the point. This is like his skill, then this is his long range ki blast right there, which again, if we really take a look here, Vegeta, Zamasu, Cell, Bardock, Caulifla, Cooler, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, they all have just like, you know, fist attacks. Baby and now God Vegeta are going to be the first ranged kind of tanks right there, which I think is fine as well. Like I think it is good to get a variety in here, and being able to like potentially apply like movement speed down to enemies that are farther away could still be useful in case like an Uber or Kefla does like stay back. You could essentially apply movement speed down to them, and then you could rush in and they'll have a harder time escaping. Or if you use your skill 2 as well, maybe it could potentially like prevent them from dashing away. Like maybe it could have a property like Cooler, where Cooler skill 2 again applies high pressure and stagger to dashing enemies specifically. So maybe if you try to dash like Oop skill 3 in Vegeta's skill 2, I think maybe that could like prevent Oop from escaping and just be a potential counter to just the meta in general. It could even be a direct counter to Bardock's skill 1. I will be interested to see what exactly happens. From here, we don't really see anything else for God Vegeta, so that's kind of all we have to talk about there. But I did ask the community as well what you guys wanted to see from God Vegeta's kit. Again, just like a meta counter would just be a good idea in general. But let's take a look here at some of the quotes maybe. If he's very good, maybe you'll play Squadra again. I don't doubt that he'll be good. I feel like more often than not, I just think that, how do I explain it? I feel like they would rather make a character overpowered than underpower them after Topo. Like, this is how I feel. Because realistically, I don't think that, I mean, the only character recently you could argue maybe is a little bit underpowered, and it's not even that he's underpowered, it's just that the meta counters him as God Goku. But like, okay, we released God Vegeta, and imagine God Vegeta counters Kefla, counters Oob, you know, counters even like a Piccolo, or like these characters that could just kind of dive in God Goku. Like, what if God Vegeta counters those type of characters? God Goku's able to have a little more breathing room and he becomes naturally better in the meta because he has a lot of damage to him already. He has good skills. It's just that these characters that are good right now kind of counter him directly. So we could definitely see a change there. But really, it's only been God Topo that I feel like was the underwhelming release on release. Gotenks has not been treated too well, but you know, that's a whole other topic. Yeah, again, this is a whole situation as well. I think I talked about this in another video, but it is pretty silly that he's not a DPS. Like, God Vegeta feels like such a DPS kind of character, a fun character. Make him good, unlike his other God counterpart who was underwhelming. Yeah, again, I just think that people are mistaking God Goku himself being underwhelming. I guess it is the thing of like, okay, in the current meta, yes, but I still feel like he's, honestly, I still feel like he's kind of like good regardless. Like, even if the top tiers counter him, the fact that he's still, I think, generally good tells you enough, right? But yeah, let's see here. Something similar, something that makes him different but good, since it looks like he's very similar to Bardock so far. I mean, if you're talking about like, you know, oh, Bardock skill 2 with this God Vegeta's thing right here, we'll see. Because again, the thing about Bardock skill 2 is, again, it does apply the Wrath, give him extra HP, but we don't know what Vegeta's does. Again, Vegeta's could be potentially more similar to Cooler's. Like, it could be like Cooler skill 2 and Vegeta skill 1 combined. I think that could be interesting. But there's not much to say. And then Vegeta obviously having ranged attacks will just make him potentially play just different than Bardock, you know, but nothing that doesn't let me play the game. Yeah, I think that's very annoying. Honestly, like, characters that just like, I mean, Kefla is a character exactly like that, where you can't, like, she just like, she gets a level gain on you and then you are actually just screwed over. Or a character that like maybe removes your abilities, but there's not really too many of them. But like Ultimate Gohan is kind of a character like that, where he just like controls your character. Basically, he stuns you, moves you around. The stagger meta is like by far the worst that Gekishin has been, and thank God that they changed that, because again, when Super Saiyan Goku, Gammas, Ultimate Gohan, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta were like the meta team and they all staggered you, that was just like so annoying. And now I feel like it's less like that, because they removed Super Saiyan Goku and Gamma staggers, which is good. I honestly think like DPS characters don't necessarily need that mechanic, honestly, but yeah. New paralysis mechanic where in Legends, where the enemy has a random chance to get staggered. I would actually hate that. I would hate that. So that would be the worst thing that they could add. A paralysis, bro? Really? A paralysis? Like, please, no. Don't do this. Do not do this, bro. I would really not like that. Anyways, let's keep reading there. Stagger and rush attack. Okay, you're just actually okay. Never mind. I should have kept reading. It's actually just a troll comment. All right. As long as he's far from how Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta functions. Okay. Anything that doesn't make me crazy. We have Abe. He seems to have a root and AoE vortex, which is great. Which is what I feel is needed for these ranged characters that are dominating. Yep. Hopefully his ult is another big bomb beam attack. Oh, actually, you know, they did show his ultimate. And it does look very... Okay, because this right here, this is God Goku's ultimate, right? We're able to see right here. Obviously, God Goku just like kind of shooting his beams, just whatever. And then... Well, I have it in 2 times in -2 speed. Can I actually change this back to normal? I can. So that's God Goku's skill 3. This is God Vegeta. It looks like it might be his ultimate. Because that's God Goku's ultimate there. We already saw Kid Buu's ultimate is what I presume is the kind of blast. But if this is God Vegeta's ult, and it's just like a giant beam. I mean, that's what it looks like it is. This looks like this is potentially his ultimate. So we'll see what it looks like. But I mean... Like, okay, the tanks that I've released so far, like post-game release, has been Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Bardock. And both of them are just like beams. Like, yeah, let's just throw out this giant beam. I mean, if it's like... I don't know. Maybe it could be similar to Super Saiyan Vegeta's ult. I don't know. I'm not sure, but we'll have to see. We have to see. A lot of CC and high damage. Okay. You already double checked the trailer from what you saw between his AoE sucking skill and the other, which looks like it snares someone. You expect some crazy debuffing and movement control to allow God Goku to feed off him. Yeah, I could see him and God Goku being like kind of great together. No staggers for him to be DPS, not a tank. You don't know what you want from a tank right now, but the concept we like to see is a sort of domain similar to Cell's Arena, except it hurts you if you try to leave. That could be interesting. A smart tank, one that makes people think about approach, allows expression. What you're asking for might go towards better divine cards, potentially. I mean, divine cards, having more divine cards would never hurt, for sure. Okay. Explosions, and explosions. Okay. Don't like Final Shine or Riot Javelin, but they come in handy when clearing out a knockback type of move. I just feel like I would rather him not play similarly to these two. And be more like of a counter to like kind of ranged characters. Like Bardock kind of can like bring... I say kind of, but he can bring people in with the skill too, but... I feel like I mean, just based on what I'm seeing, I do think that he is going to complement God Goku. When is he release? He releases next Tuesday. Right here on the 31st, so... we have a lot of time before we see kind of him in game, but we will see his kit tomorrow. I think that's kind of it. I just feel like, you know, just taking a look at some of the replies, seeing what people are thinking. I mean, there's not too much to go off of, but I do think that this guy could potentially be healthy for the game, actually. If they do, well, obviously, if they do him right, he's going to be healthy, guys. Yeah, but like, I hope that is the case, and he does kind of directly tackle some of the issues. But then again, I think it's also just a funny thing where it's like, okay, they create the issues and then they sell the answer. You know, and that's the only thing I don't like. But as we get a bigger roster over time, this issue probably won't be as prevalent because there's going to be so many characters that do different things that counter specifically different archetypes that even when a character comes down really strong in a certain archetype, at that point, like let's say in a year or two, there's already a pre-existing character that can counter that archetype generally. So then maybe they will see more relevancy when that character comes out. You guys get the point. But right now there's not like that many characters in the game where it's like everyone has a counter to everyone, etc. So appreciate y'all for watching, and catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.